The Warlord of Inzulezu, a story by Pames Tales. Opeyemi opened the wrong door, and that's how she found the bones and skeletons. I can still hear the sound of her voice when I close my eyes. That night still haunts me, and even though it's been years since it happened, I have never been able to forget. My name is Ladi. I was a palace maid in Inzulezu, and this is the story of what really happened to Payemi, the poor orphan girl who became the bride of the warlord of Inzulezu. You see, everyone in the nearby villages whispered about him. His name was King Oba of Inzulezu. They called him a warlord, a tyrant, a devil, walking like a man. But from afar, he seemed like a savior. He ended wars, brought gold, built houses and roads where there was once only dust. But no one dared talk about his wives. He had many, and they never stayed long. The story that reached the villages was always the same. They either say she fell sick, she ran away, or she couldn't bear palace life. But I was inside. I saw things. I knew things. And I was too much of a coward to say anything until Opeyemi arrived. Opeyemi was unlike the other girls. She was the bride whose deaf grandfather did everything in his power to stop the wedding, all to no avail. On the morning of the wedding, he wore her gown and refused to let it go. Oh, if only he knew how to talk. He couldn't explain his reason, even though his actions were so clear. Payemi was a poor orphan who was deeply loved by her grandfather, whom she affectionately called Papa. But for the rest of the family and the society, they treated her just like the orphan she was, and that is why she thought marriage was her only escape. During the period, the king's special guard was sent to get the king a bride, or to put it right, another victim. The guard set out on a hunt to the neighboring villages until he met Opeyemi. Then he lied to her. He told her he had observed her and knew she was just right for his brother who lived and worked overseas. Opeyemi's longing for marriage clouded her judgment, making her naive to his claims. She saw the king's pictures without his royal regalia, and instantly she was drawn to his aura without knowing what awaits her. She then declared triumphantly, "Those who once mocked me are now eating their words." And indeed, the villagers who had doubted her were now singing her praises. And oh, even her own family, who had once disrespected her, now lavished her with admiration, treating her like royalty. The wedding date was set, and although her deaf grandfather posed challenges, the ceremony ultimately went smoothly with lots to eat and drink. Soon, night came, and everyone waved goodbye at the newest Oyibo bride. Even her enemies tearfully said, "Don't forget us, Opeyemi." Oh, if only they knew that behind the glittering facade lay a different truth. A truth that echoed the old age adage, all that glitters is not gold. Opeyemi and the guard traveled across 7 nearby villages, and after a tiring journey, they arrived at the beautiful mansion in a luxurious limousine. "You didn't tell me my husband was this rich," she exclaimed with tears of joy. The guard simply smiled and directed her to the door, where he asked a special maid assigned to her to guard her to her room. All this while, the warlord stood at the top of the mansion with his eyes full of wicked intentions. He was waiting patiently to unleash his cruel plan on Opeyemi. But on the other wing of the mansion was Opeyemi, who didn't sit in her bedroom as instructed by the guard. She was all over, greeting the maids, touching statues and ornaments, and admiring the beauty and splendor of the palace. "Stop it, Your Highness," the maid who was assigned to her would say, but all fell on deaf ears. "I am blessed," she would scream, and dance through the corridors of the mansion with her beauty and splendor. She danced and rejoiced until she came across a door made with pearls. "This is so beautiful. Let me see what's in there," she said. "Please don't. It's forbidden," the maid queried. But before she could utter another word, the door was opened. The maid went blind instantly, and Opeyemi screamed her voice out. Her screams was an ear-splitting one, none that I have come across before. And there they were, the skeleton and bones, dripping blood from the ceiling of the mansion's highest tower. "Hail our queen, hail our redeemer," they all bowed mysteriously. It was the most shocking scene I had ever seen. They all wore wedding gowns, and they looked more like ancient statues begging for mercy. And what is more shocking was the fact that Opeyemi was able to open the forbidden door without the treasured keys. What happens next? Watch out for part 2. Kindly comment the country you are watching from. Like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye.